Good morning, or is it good afternoon? Hi, it's Charlie Wall here. I am just going to share this into my group. And if you're here, say hello so that I know you're here. Oops, where am I? Group. Today's topic is going to be about alcohol. Before I start, though, on the alcohol topic, I'd love to know, those of you who have dogs, I have an amazing little puppy. She's not so little anymore. I think she's fully grown. She's a border terrier. And she has just stopped eating. She's 9 months old. She stopped eating dog food about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And so I've been making sausages, making mince and bacon, and I'm not quite sure how to get her food in her. And I wondered if any of you dog people have any tips for me. What do you feed your dog when they no longer want to eat dog food? Is it the heat? Anyway, I don't know. If you have any advice for me, that would be amazing, because I'm kind of a bit reluctant to take her to the vets to say she's not eating because she's healthy. Anyway, hello. I always do a question. If you're new here, I always do a question of the week or a topic of the week or a topic that's come up consistently with my clients or consistently in my Facebook group. She Connects. I have this wonderful group of females. I have new women coming in all the time, and I feel very blessed, very honoured that the support in there is just so amazing. But the topic that comes up regularly is alcohol. And you may or may not know, I used to be an addictions counsellor at Adam Brooks Hospital. I set up a service there under liaison psychiatry, gosh, quite a long time ago now, 15, 16 years ago maybe. No, my son's, anyway, a long time ago. And I'd worked in addictions, drugs and alcohol for time at that point when I was asked to go and set it up at Adam Brooks Hospital. And so I was quite interested in how some of my friends were really struggling to get off it, and that's kind of where my interest came from. So if you're hello, so I know you're here, because on my computer I can't see if you've popped in. I can only see it if I use my phone. And so somebody, one of our wonderful women, posted in the group this week, and I get asked this question privately quite a lot, which I drink every night, and I don't like it, and sometimes I don't like myself when I'm drinking, and I don't know how to stop it. And so I also think that given the support that this lady got on the group, that a lot of us, it's something that we don't admit or we don't want to talk about. We don't want to say out loud to ourselves or to others. So there's something shameful around that. And I just consider that to be another habit that we are innocently using to make ourselves feel better. And I know from personal experience, one of the reasons I gave up my addictions counselling job was because I considered myself to have a drinking problem. And I'd normalised drinking a bottle of wine every night because I was working with were drinking, a bottle of spirits a night. But it was exactly the same exactly the same thing. There isn't any kind of hierarchy in what we use as a prop. But I do know that it was one of the reasons I left the job, aside from the fact that it was a very difficult job for one person to do, cover the whole hospital. I was actually, I just thought, I can't help people if I'm drinking every night like this. And that's how I got into fitness, because then I just got addicted to exercise. I just swapped one addiction for another one. But it's always pointing to the same thing, which is always trying to make ourselves feel better. And I know that I worked very hard at that point when I quit that job to not drink. And I know that I had done some things that I really wasn't very proud of, looking back. And I didn't really like who I was. And so sometimes I drink very happily with my friends, and I'd be fine. And other times I would end up crying in the corner or doing things that I wasn't particularly proud of. And I know that then started to creep back in a few years ago, and then I kind of knocked it on the head again. And then when my father died in October, so it's coming up for 2 years now, I started drinking again every night, as going to the hospital for 5 weeks. So it was pretty much every night, but not every night, not that it matters. Because what then happened is that every morning I would get up and think, oh, you're awful. Oh, how did you do that again? Why have you done this again? You're crap. You're this, you're that. And then every morning I would wake up and go, I'm not going to drink today. And then obviously the trauma of watching my father die, which was horrific, led me straight back to open a bottle of wine or have a glass. And I just realised that I'd gotten to a point, because then I ended up in hospital myself, and I thought, wow, this is a big wake-up call. And I just slowly started to turn it around. And what I want you to know is there is hope. There is always hope. It doesn't matter if you binge. It doesn't matter if you purge. It doesn't matter if you starve yourself. It doesn't matter if you feel that you are just full of self-loathing. Because all we're ever trying to do is get back to a state of peace and get back to a state of happiness. And the urge to drink, or the urge to eat, or the urge to exercise, or whatever it is, can feel really overpowering. And like sometimes you just have to either do the habit to stop the urge, to stop that kind of overwhelming desire to act on your habit. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I think once you start talking about it to someone, if not me, then people in my group, and if you're not in that group, and you want to set up a time to talk to me, I'll put the link to set up for an appointment with me on the post. But there is nothing wrong with you. And just because you're acting out on a habit that you don't particularly like doesn't mean that you're broken. It just means that you have lost sight of who you are and you've just forgotten. And that's okay, because that's what we all do. And it just takes someone maybe to guide you back, or to keep hearing that consistent message, which I will keep telling you that you're enough, and I will keep telling you that you're not broken and that there's nothing to fix. And if no one tells you today, then I love you and I think you're enough. And you're not alone. You know, I don't know how many women I've spoken to over the years that have struggled with alcohol. I don't know how many women have contacted me the next day and said all these awful things and suffered with paranoia and blackouts and fear. And I've done that. I've been there. You know, I understand it. I understand the desire. I understand the pull. I understand the urges. And that's why I don't think it matters if it's alcohol or if it matters if it's food or shopping or believing our thinking around ourselves as a person. And we usually make it mean something really awful about us. We're not good enough. We aren't worthy enough. We're not clever enough. It's always boils down to that. And mine as well was traumatic grief. And I know many of you watching have had experience of grief. And so, yes, it's numbing, but I also truly now believe that it's just your best thing, and it's just your way of trying to get back to who you are. And it might be a bit misconstrued, but that's why I think it's always the best that you can do in any moment. And once we understand the kind of physiology behind our addictions and what drives us to follow the urges, then that makes a huge difference, and it becomes a bit more empowering because you realize that you have more control than you thought. So, maybe Emily Joy, lovely to see you here. So yeah, if you have like issues with alcohol, which was kind of the main topic of conversation today, just know that sometimes it can just be alcohol, and it's the alcohol that then leads on to other behaviors such as eating or maybe having lots of sex with lots of different people, kind of risk-taking behavior, driving, eating stuff we wouldn't choose to eat normally. And there's something around, you know, like the physiology of alcohol actually is a depressant, and we think it helps us sleep, but actually it has the opposite effect and creates anxiety. But the spiritual side of that is that we're always just trying to get back home, and we're always just trying to do the best we can. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's alcohol, it doesn't matter if that's eating, binging, purging, starving, exercising, scrolling, shopping. In my case, it's also picking my face. I'd always just say to you that I've got you, and your best thinking got you here. And if you're watching this, there's obviously a reason why you're watching this, and I'm here. And if you want to book up a connection meeting with me and talk about it, then I'd love to help you. And I know there's hope. I absolutely know there's hope, because I'm living proof that there's hope. So I will speak to you again next week, and if you want to come into the group, let me know in the comments, and I'll get you in the group, and I'll put a link to setting up a connection meeting with me if that's something that you're ready to tackle some of this stuff and understand it a bit deeper. And maybe now's the time to start being kind with yourself and treating yourself with some love and compassion like you would do everyone else, I guess. So, have a lovely day, guys. Remember you're enough. Remember I love you. And remember you're not alone. Take care. Bye.